I'm not sure.
It says we're live now. I hit the live button. It says you can only broadcast for uh for up to 8 hours. So yeah, I mean we're not gonna go for 8 hours, so should be fine. Now my
Sure,
screen. Huh?
We're live.
sure,
Oh, we are live? Okay. For some reason it doesn't show as live for me on our screen on YouTube. But welcome everyone to another edition of the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, back from a 2 week hiatus. I am back to semi full health and not too crazy at work. Assassin, who is making his 157th straight appearance on this program, sounds like dog shit though. How are you doing, Assassin?
I
Oh man, you sound like you have like stuff shoved up your nose. Do you have anything shoved up your nose?
no, not at this moment.
Oh, you poor kid. You poor kid. Um, also with us this late afternoon is Italian Clowns. What's going on, bud?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, I mean nothing much. I mean gaming for me has been pretty light, but we'll get into what you guys have been doing since pretty much my gaming schedule has allowed me to play like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, which are awesome by the way. If you haven't picked those up, those are must-haves. But yeah, before we do, just want to say Taylor obviously is probably not going to be with us tonight. She may. I mean, we'll see if she can jump in. But her schedule has her at work, and unfortunately, the time zones are different and whatnot. So, for this pre-game awards show, we had to, obviously move the podcast forward a little bit. Instead of our 7:30 time slot, we're at 5:30 today, and we're doing it on Hangouts because my work schedule's been crazy, so I didn't have a chance to. Uh, make things. But anyway, yeah. So tonight we're just gonna talk about a few news topics, but nothing too crazy. Most of the show is gonna be about the Game Awards that are coming up tonight at 8:30 Eastern, not 7:30. Assassin.
Bite me.
Clearly don't know your time zones.
Did he say bite me or fight me? Because I can't tell with his.
I think he said bite me, but if he wants to fight, like I'll go, bro. I'll go. Bring it.
1v1 Minecraft. Let's go.
1v1 Minecraft? Oh wow.
Wow.
I definitely lose that. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. So yeah, let's get right into this because this is kind of like a very casual show today. We're doing the Hangouts thing. We're only talking about a couple topics. Let's get right into it. Before we get into the video game awards categories and nominees and stuff, let me ask you guys, what have you guys been doing over the past 2 weeks? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys at all. Been sick. I know you guys have been gaming.
I haven't talked to
usual.
Assassin either. So I mean, me and you, Inferno, we're in the same boat as far as communication wise.
Wow. Assassin, what have you been? You've been just playing Call of Duty and closing the door and not talking on your microphone? What's going on, bud?
I've been playing some Siege, which I've came to the conclusion that I'm going to stop playing the game for good. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins, Evil Within 2, and I've been terribly sick.
Wow. That was like me last week. Last week, I didn't feel like I wanted to do like anything, and we we had these things planned. I had to cancel them, and I wanted to I got World War II, Call of Duty World War II in the mail. I wanted to pop that in, and I still haven't done that. It's just crazy. Like you think like being sick, you're able to possibly stay home from work, you'd be able to game, but it just takes so much out of you. It's crazy. But yeah. So what do you think about Origins? Have you beaten it yet?
It's a lot like was it Ghost Recon Wildlands in a way, and it's kind of pissed me off. Just the tedious bullshit of an Ubisoft game, but
Right.
the combat and some of the other stuff is good. It's good.
Nice.
Oh, Clowns was right on that, huh? Yep.
No, I'm actually enjoying it from then Unity and Syndicate.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, Unity obviously dog shit from all intents and purposes. Syndicate, I thought, for a decent amount of it was good. But I haven't tried Origins yet. I got that in the mail last week too. Still haven't popped that in, but I'm super excited to play it because I was really encouraged by what I saw at E3, and then I heard Taylor talking about it a bunch, um, and so yeah, I mean, I love what I see. I love like the way they've changed Assassin's Creed into more action focused kind of thing, not as much stealth. And I do like that eagle as much as Clowns hates that thing. I like the eagle.
Yeah.
But Clowns, what have you been playing, bud?
Well, I've been avoiding AC Origins, actually. Speaking of it, a lot of hardcore AC fans agree with me. They send me DMs. They're like, "Yeah, the Eagle's annoying. That's all there is to the game." Yeah, yeah, and they're like, "Oh, it's a big empty desert. There's nothing to do. It's just this here, this there." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I told you so." And at first, Assassin was complaining too, and I was like, "Yeah, I told you so." And now he's going back a little bit, because he doesn't want to admit I was right. But that's okay. That's
No,
okay.
I'm not. I mean, you're right because you are wrong. I am enjoying the game. If you read the tweet, it was in the beginning. The map gave me a headache, which it does.
Inferno, you know what? If he was going to be honest, I was going to give him a $50 Xbox gift card right now.
Honest. If I hated the game, I would have stopped playing it, just like I am with Siege.
Wow, Sassy is getting sassy tonight.
How many hours you put into Assassin?
I don't know. I can tell you in a few minutes.
Yeah. Nice. Well.
Holy crap! Listen to you, Assassin, getting a little sassy there. What's up with you, buddy? You all right? You hanging in there?
Yeah. He's getting a little angry. He's a little sick. It's he's not himself. He needs to grab a Snickers bar.
I thought he'd be like, "Hey, Clowns, you're awesome, man. You game share with me. You buy me all these awesome games." No, that's okay, Sassy. I see how it is. All right, new game share, buddy, coming up tonight. But I've been playing Everybody's Golf on PS4.
That game's good.
I've been loving it.
Yeah, that game's excellent, man. I'm so glad I grabbed that. It's really cool to have a game like that with kind of like a narrative going on. Because at first I was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get stale of this," but I mean, the graphics are great, the gameplay is solid. It's not like it looks like a kiddie kind of golf game. It's like Hot Shots Golf, but it's kind of like a indirect sequel to Hot Shots Golf, but it's way more challenging than you'd expect, which was not good for me at the beginning. But yeah, once you get used to like the wind and a lot of the spins and all that kind of stuff, that's an awesome game.
Awesome, yeah, awesome. I think that's what it is, Inferno. I think it's because it's so laid back and it's so cartoonish. It's like, it's not serious, but it takes skill at the same time to play it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just relaxing because you're not really mad at it when you lose. It's just so cartoonish.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And I don't find myself, on Rory McIlroy's golf that came out a couple of years ago, I would like rage quit and stuff. This one, I'm just like, oh, well, I'll go at it again. I'll try it again, So yeah, I mean, yeah, it is really laid back. I do think everyone with a PlayStation should probably grab it, even if you're not a golf fan or even if you're not a sports game fan, because there are a lot of like fun, like story and conversation and like emote kind of aspects to it that are really cool. And you'll probably enjoy it. I mean, it's not really like too sportsy.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah. So Pelvic Gaming in the YouTube chat says she heard AC Origins is amazing. I mean, it looks pretty good. I haven't played it. Assassin's liking it, but the hardcores are. I've heard some hardcores talk bad about it, but I mean, that's what Redbox is for. If you don't want to buy it, just give it that a quick rental, see if you're into it compared to the old Origin, the old Assassin's Creed games, and who knows, you may really love it, you may hate it and want to like break that disc, but
yeah, that was one of the games I bought into Inferno that I game share with Assassin as of right now.
Oh my God.
Still, I mean, as of right now, but that could change because he's being mean to me.
Oh my God. Assassin, do you have the hiccups tonight too, bud?
No.
It sounded like you did. Man, did it snow up there in Wisconsin?
So I think the week of Thanksgiving or the week before we got some snow. It didn't stay. And then it kind of got hot for a while, like 60 degrees, which I know isn't hot, but this time of year it is. And then now we have snow in the forecast for I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow. Crazy, dude. Just crazy. I'm hoping it doesn't snow here until like February at the earliest, but we're supposed to get snow in Boston. Probably like end of this weekend, probably, but not going to be much. So, Chicken Spaghetti says Arkansas is way better than Wisconsin.
That's a bunch of lies.
It's probably accurate, to be honest. Although Wisconsin has a good amount of cheese, so I mean, I'm a big fan of cheese, so that's a good thing. All right. So let's get into some of this thing that's happened inside the Video Game Awards. There's a ton of categories for this thing. We're not going to go over all of them. But I mean, there's some categories that I think are pretty much locks. And so we'll kind of like start with those first, maybe. One of those is best sports or racing game. I mean, I don't want to be biased by being an Xbox fan, but I have played a few of these, and I do think that Forza is probably a lock to win this. You got Project Cars 2, Pro Evo Soccer 2018, 2K NBA 2K18, which is actually pretty good. GT Sport, Forza Motorsport 7, and FIFA 18 somehow gets in that list, even though FIFA 18 is essentially the same thing every year. So Assassin, you look at this list, you think anything's gonna win other than Forza?
Something tells me Project Cars 2.
Dude. if that were to win, I would be on Twitter instantly. They're called Slightly Mad Studios for a reason, because everyone who plays that is slightly mad. Or everyone who like even thinks about buying that is slightly mad in the head. Although
is that
I think
like the Unity of car games?
that is. It could be even worse than the Unity of car games. But
that's pretty bad.
That has no chance of winning. Interesting. The category is sports and racing games, and 3 of them are racing games. And you know, I don't know if they feel like obligated to put half of them as racing games, but like I don't think Project Cars 2 deserves to be up there. I mean, GT Sport, I've only played a little bit, very, very little bit of. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't look as good as Forza. I mean, they do some like decent graphical trickery that the PlayStation 4 Pro does to make it look awesome on a 4K display, but I still prefer the racing, the arcadey nature of even though motorsport is supposed to be serious, there is more arcadey nature, I think, in my opinion, to this one. And I do prefer that. I think the like environments look way better on Forza than GT Sport. Interestingly, I think it's pretty interesting that both Pro Evo and FIFA both are on this list. I mean, obviously soccer games are really popular everywhere, but I think it's pretty interesting that both of the competitors are on this list.
Especially when it's EA. Everyone's hating EA, so
everyone's hating on EA, right? Everyone's hating on EA, yeah. So yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd love to see how many EA games got nominated. But I didn't notice a lot, to be honest. But FIFA, I guess, you know, to be the best soccer game and how popular soccer is, or football, as many call it, you know, I guess it belongs up there, but I think Forza takes this category hands down.
Xbox. I don't know. You know,
go ahead.
Is Forza true 4K? Because I've been hearing a lot of stuff that even Digital Foundry saying that the Xbox One X is not reaching true 4K potential.
I don't know. I didn't watch any videos on that. I didn't see any like PixelCon videos or any like analyses on that by Eurogamer. But I mean, I thought it was. I mean, it looks incredible. I mean, I think it definitely looks better than GT Sport. But you know, I don't know if it's true 4K. But I mean, it runs smooth as butter. It's extremely smooth. I'm very not like the person that needs locked 60 to enjoy video games, as we've discussed on the show before. But I think that the smoothness, I do appreciate that on Forza a lot. I mean, I've seen frame rate drops in very, very, very rare instances, but I do think that you know, the smoothness of the game with the environment, like how the environment looks. I think maybe if it isn't true 4K, it's not as big of a deal to me, but I don't know. I wonder if during the Video Game Awards it's gonna like come up like 4K buzzwords. Like, are people gonna be talking 4K? Are people gonna be talking, you know, Xbox One X versus PS4? I don't know. PS4 Pro rather. I don't know. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Xbox Pope says that he thinks that Forza is going to get the win. He also wants to check out the new Need for Speed, but he'll wait until it's in the vault. Yeah, I haven't heard very many good things about that. Have you guys tried that? Do you guys have EA access still or no?
No.
Yeah, I played the new Need for Speed and I liked it.
Oh right, yeah. I remember you saying that in a prior show. Yeah,
I mean, is it something that you could play like 12 hours straight, like the length of time that me and Assassin put into a game per day? Probably not. You probably get bored of it, but I'd say a good maybe 2 to 3 hours before you switch games.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the things that I've like Need for Speed tries to take themselves in the last game prior to this most recent one. They try to take themselves a little seriously with those cutscenes and all that, and it just like fell so flat. I remember talking to Assassin about that when that was in trial or whatever. I think we were both playing it, and oh my god, that was just a mess.
Yep.
So I mean, it's hard for me to take them seriously, but like you said, Clowns, like a quick 3-4 hour game session maybe, or less. But as long as you don't take it too seriously.
Because I mean, it is arcadey in its nature, and it can't be too serious. Because I mean, you're flying through billboards. I know you do that in Forza Horizon 3, but I mean, you're actually flying through billboards,
right?
Like crashing through them. It's just, it's can't be serious.
Right. All right. So on to the next category, which I think, in my opinion, is a runaway. But you guys, I definitely want to hear what you guys think, because this is actually, I think, an extremely interesting category, and that is best ongoing game, which I don't remember that being awarded last year. And if it was, tell me, because I don't remember it. But
that's tough.
Basically, there's going to be games that have been ongoing development that have lasted more than a year, a couple of years, and that just gets better with age. Essentially, they say content evolves the player experience over time. So I mean, in this list, I would say that Destiny 2 is probably out right away. I think that's probably
100%.
That's clearly the weakest option. But I think the runaway winner in this is probably GTA. As much as Rainbow Six Siege should give a shot at it, I still think that GTA has just been doing it for so long, and as we've seen, can stay at full price or close to it and still sell, and has sold like 80 million copies or something absolutely ridiculous. I just think that has the longest lasting power. I think that's probably going to get the nod, even though Siege has been praised. I mean, I know you guys are hating on it right now, but I think it's been praised for just evolving and putting out so much content. I think this is kind of a tough category, but in some people's eyes, but I think GTA is definitely going to run away with it.
I gotta say, I agree with you. I think GTA is the strongest contender. I do think a good runner-up would be Siege, Overwatch, and Warframe. I don't know why PUBG's in there. That's really too new to be ongoing. And like you guys said, Destiny 2 has done nothing lately. So yeah, GTA has been out there forever. Like you said, it's been remastered for this generation. And they still sell shark cards like crazy. They still sell online content like crazy. I mean, you can't compete with that. The thing is like a mega blockbuster.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. Real quick, before we get Assassin's take on this, I want to go to the chat and thank everybody who's dropped in, even though we're doing an early podcast this week. I really appreciate people coming in and checking out the show before watching the Video Game Awards tonight at 8:30 Eastern time. Xbox Pope Tom wants to know what the contenders are because he's watching actually on his phone. It's a little too small for him. So the contenders are Warframe, Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, GTA Online, Destiny 2, which is disgusting that's even on there, and PUBG. So PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So all right, Assassin, your thoughts on this? You think this is a runaway like me and Clowns, or you think there's something to be said for something else here?
It's gonna be GTA. I mean, they are even putting out some new DLC, I think, next week, Tuesday, and I mean, people are gonna eat it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like that's a good thing that you mentioned that, because I don't even think when I think of GTA Online, I'm not even thinking of like them constantly releasing like different DLC. They did that racing one. They did the one that was kind of like a copy off of the Hot Wheels one. What was that one called?
I forget.
I don't remember what it's
I know what
called
you're
because I
talking
don't
about.
really play GTA, but I know well enough to know that that was, you know, a huge hit. A lot of people like that. And it's not even like them constantly adding new stuff. It's like making tweaks here and there, people being able to do different things, people doing the heists, even to this day, some of the older heists and experiencing it in totally different ways. And you know, it's just like it's evolving, but at the same time, are they getting as much new content as Siege is? Maybe not, or Warframe even, maybe not. But at the same time, like they're still keeping that player base. There is something there that is keeping those numbers high. Um, and like let's admit it. I mean, Siege at the beginning was a shit show. I mean, those numbers dropped, and then you know they reformed a few things. You know, came out with the season format, you know, all that kind of thing, and then that game shot back up. But GTA Online has just been consistently a high performer.
Yep.
I know people are out there that probably say Overwatch, but you know, Overwatch really hasn't added a lot of content. I mean, they've had a few new characters. It's really like basically the same thing. I mean, they've made you know, tweaks, buffs, nerfs to characters. Most notably, the healer Mercy has gotten, and also Symmetra. If you're Overwatch fans, those two characters have gotten huge um, modifications to totally change the gameplay, especially Symmetra. But you know, I just think GTA has just been doing it for such a long period of time and kept the player base that's definitely going to win. I know Tom in the chat says PUBG for the win. I mean, PUBG's only been out for like 6 months, right? 7 months, something like that.
Yep, it's not even officially out either.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I think GTA is definitely going to win this. I know there's people in the chat arguing back and forth. Chicken Spaghetti says GTA Online's been hit after hit after hit straight from the go. Yeah, I mean I don't think there are people out there that really talk shit about GTA Online, you know. With these other games, people can talk negatively about all, you know, there's a point to be made against all of them. Except GTA Online, I think, is like generally positively regarded by everyone. So I think that easily wins. Okay. Next category. What was the next one that I wanted to check out here? I can't find it now that I'm looking at the small list. Here's another one that I think is a hands down win. Best fighting game, which usually I feel like lately that category hasn't gotten a lot of competition. But you've got Tekken 7, Nidhogg 2, which I guess is a fighting game and not like a traditional fighter. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Injustice 2, and ARMS. And I think this is a pretty easy win. But Clowns, you go ahead. You say what you think.
I was gonna say, I agree. There's not a whole lot in fighting games that's really come out lately, right? But how come we don't see the new season of Killer Instinct, or how come we don't see Rivals at Aether at least? I mean, they're something to add to the category. Instead, we see ARMS.
Yeah, it's like there are other categories with 6 options. Why exclude some of the other ones? You know, Rivals are there, like you said. Maybe they're not doing the Killer Instinct thing because they got flack in the past for listing like season passes or listing like extra content as you know, an option. But you know, if they totally change the experience, I think it's definitely fair game. But like Nidhogg 2, I don't think that deserves to be recognized in fighting game category. I don't think that's even like a traditional. I guess it says head-to-head combat, so I guess everything, it's very broad, but at the same time, I don't think that should be included.
Wow. You know, this, I don't even know what to say. The only two I could think that should win, Injustice 2 or Tekken 7, because this Marvel vs. Capcom was a joke.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom was not very good at all. I played that at E3. I mean, the fighting felt okay. The graphics were terrible. Content out of the gate was not very good. So I think that's almost thrown in there just to fill out the card with some big AAA fighters because, let's just face it, the fighting genre is kind of dying a little bit. I think ARMS has a real shot, even though it probably shouldn't, because that's also weak on content. And I don't think that that's impressive on the same level as Injustice 2. I think it's definitely a clear win for Injustice 2. And it sucks that there aren't, you got Daz in the chat, UK Daz in the chat, saying that, what a new Mortal Kombat needs to rise from the depths and take over this category again. But I mean, we haven't seen a new Mortal Kombat. So there isn't going to be a lot of competition here. I mean, Tekken 7, you have people that love it, you have people that hate it, but I think that Injustice is definitely, I think that was more universally liked, and I think people enjoyed the story. I mean, there was a good story in that too. So, yeah, the Xbox Pope says if I were to guess, Injustice for the win. Yeah, probably. And then the Keith Trailer also says he loved Marvel vs. Capcom 3 so much, and then Infinite. Look what they did with that, right? Didn't exactly continue the great line of Marvel vs. Capcom games, but anyway, Assassin, what do you think about this?
In a perfect world, ARMS would win, but realistically, it would be Injustice 2.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to win, and I think ARMS is definitely the most unique, obviously, and I think that that does have replay value. I think it is a fun game. I think it's good use of the motion controls on the Switch. I do have it. I enjoy it. But I mean, there's just not enough depth, and the lobbies are not traditional lobbies for fighting. I mean, the online is definitely a little wonky compared to the traditional ones like Injustice 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Tekken 7. So I mean, I feel like when you're talking about fighting games now, it's not just it's not an arcade fighting game experience anymore. You have to consider the online. I think that's kind of where ARMS falls a little short when you're talking about this category. So that's why I don't think it's gonna it's gonna do well in this selection here. I think Injustice is definitely gonna win. All right, so that's pretty much that category. Good talk in the chat about this one. Let me see if anyone else had anything to say. Daz says Tekken 7 multiplayer is where it took him 16 hours to get the 1,000 gamer score. That's actually a decently long time, I think. I don't know. Fighting games, like, I don't play for gamer score anyway, so I don't really know like what's appropriate. But here's one that I think is kind of up in the air a little bit. I think we're going to have some different answers on this. This is one of the categories that people are definitely paying attention to tonight. Best action adventure game. And I think this is one of the bigger categories in the show. And I come to this one now because I don't think this is definitely a runaway, but I think all these games definitely have a lot of merit. And even though Uncharted Lost Legacy isn't necessarily like a brand new game or its own iteration, I think even though it does use kind of like the same engine, if you will, of Uncharted 4, I still think it deserves a spot here, and I think it has a decent shot, to be honest. But I'm not going to give my answer first. I want Assassin to give you it. I want you to give yours first since you haven't gone first yet. So what do you think?
So the only game out of all these I've played is Assassin's Creed, and that's so not winning. I would love to see Uncharted win, but I have a feeling either Zelda or Horizon Zero Dawn is going to win.
Yeah, I think Zelda has. I mean, I think if you look at it, I think people at the time were already saying, even back in March, that Zelda was going to take a category like this hands down. And it's telling that you've got two Switch titles on this list, and they both have a very, very good shot of winning. But I don't know. I think it really depends on who voted in this thing. I don't think everyone universally played Breath of the Wild. I think a lot of people did. I mean, remember back in March when we were talking about it coming out, I mean, more people bought that game than bought an actual Switch because Switches were hard to get and the game was not. Yeah. So people bought the game and didn't have the console. So So obviously it was popular, but I don't know. Do people gravitate a little bit to Horizon Zero Dawn? I mean, it's possible. If you're asking me, if you're holding a knife to my neck and you want me to make a decision, I'm gonna say it's Zelda's gonna take it. But I mean, I think Horizon Zero Dawn was very good. I enjoy that game a lot. But I think everybody has a chance here, to be honest. I think Origins is sad. I think Origins, sadly, is like the least of this list, which is crazy. In not in quality because I haven't really played it, but in chances, in favorability. So Cons, I know you've played quite a few on this list. I think you've played everything on this list, no?
Everything but Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, you don't have Horizon, okay. So you've played 4 out of 5.
No.
What do you think is gonna take it?
Well, this is tough. I'm leaning towards I think Legend of Zelda, and I think a second runner-up would be Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah, man. I know you were really high on that Uncharted game, and I think could people kind of knock it for using the same engine and coming out so close to Uncharted 4? I mean, maybe, but I don't think it deserves that. I think, people were like, "Oh, is this a DLC? Is it not a DLC?" And then the game came out, it was $40. And it was, Clowns, as you've told us before on the podcast, and you'd probably say again if asked, it's definitely its own experience. It's definitely got its own storyline, its own experience, and it plays out a little differently than Uncharted 4, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's hints to the Uncharted series, of course, with Nathan Drake and stuff, but I mean, it is completely its own entity, and I think that's what people missed about it.
Right. And honestly, like I bought that game on sale at Black Friday. It was like $16. You could get that game for cheap during Black Friday. I'm sure you'll be able to get some Christmas sales on it. If you see it for that low and you have a PlayStation 4, you should definitely not pass it up. I mean, even Horizon Zero Dawn was on sale for around that price, and that game is definitely very, very good, and I think has a chance. But I think the Nintendo, not to be a loser and be corny, but that Nintendo power, bro, that Nintendo pull, that Nintendo power.
One thing I want to say about Super Mario Odyssey is it hit nostalgia, right? And I think that's all it really did. I played it and I liked it, but I didn't beat it. I maybe played it 4 hours and I flipped it and traded it in.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't like Mario, or I loved, Mario back in the day on the NES and Super NES, but there's just something about it that I couldn't get myself to play it all the way through like it could other games.
Yeah, like that's the thing, Odyssey, I think isn't even second in this category when, people are like, what, Super Mario game not winning an adventure game? But it was less than an adventure game this time around than in prior instances. It's like so fetch questy. I get sick of it after playing like 2 hours of it, to be honest. I think it's technically incredible.
Yep.
But it looks great, even blown up into 4K. I'm pretty sure that game in dock mode runs at maybe 1080p at the highest, but probably not. But I don't even notice a huge degradation on my TV. I mean, it doesn't look, as crisp as stuff on the X and on the Pro, but it looks good, and I think it plays well. It's just that it's just so fetch questy, man, and it's just so, it's not even an adventure game anymore. It's not even an adventure game.
The one thing about it that really irked me as a Mario fan, I should say, is that the bosses. I just felt like they were knockoff bosses.
Yeah. Yep.
I felt like they were like a bad ROM hack version of the Koopa bosses, if that makes sense to a lot of people out there.
No, I mean, if you've played any ROM hacks of popular games, you'll know exactly what Cons is talking about. But yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with you. I think Mario bosses have kind of, if they want to stick to the same blueprint there, I think they've kind of run dry on what they can do. So they've kind of like reused a lot of stuff, just themed it a little bit differently. I agree with you on that. I think it just doesn't have that same feel. I mean, yeah, obviously it's Odyssey and you go into the real world and there's, Mexicans and whatnot. And it's a really different theme wise, but even gameplay wise, it's just not it's just not the same. But people on the YouTube chat want to know, we're using Hangouts. Yes, Kel's show, we're using Hangouts just for tonight because I didn't have time to prepare anything because I'm a schmuck. But we do have some screen capture to go over the topics, so it's not just our floating circles or Assassin's beautiful, beautiful head. All right, next category here. Where do we want to go next? Oh, here's one. Here's one that I think Assassin will really like. Best multiplayer. So yet again, Destiny 2 is on this list. Why is Destiny 2 getting so many nods for these things when, like, is that really best multiplayer? Like, I don't understand why that's even mentioned.
I think it's one of those games where the reviewers extremely liked it, but the players don't. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's up there.
Yeah, but like, it's like you're putting these awards out, and you don't want to risk this award show becoming like, you know, the Oscars or something, where like people like one thing and the critics like another because of its artistic style, and people are like, no, I enjoy this so much more. And, you know,
Yep.
That's kind of like what you're risking by including Destiny 2 so many times in games like this. Like, yes, have I played a lot of Destiny 2? Actually, I've played none of Destiny 2, but I've seen so much of it. I've heard these guys talk about it. I've heard a lot of my friends talk about it. You know, Endgame is just not very good. People are not motivated to play that game cooperatively. I don't hear people talking about multiplayer like Crucible like they did with the first game. Like, I don't know anybody who gets on every night and plays like Crucible, you know, or plays, competitive multiplayer. You know, this isn't massively multiplayer. Like, people just jump on with the same people. Is the gunplay good? Obviously, like Destiny has some of the best gunplay. The graphics are incredible now on both the higher end consoles, the Xbox One X, the PS4 Pro, the PC obviously looks incredible. But like, does it deserve to be there with like PUBG? No. Even Call of Duty World War II, I think I enjoy more multiplayer wise than Destiny 2. You know, obviously Destiny 2, you could argue is like all multiplayer, even if you go in by yourself, because you will get paired up most likely on the missions oftentimes. But like, if Destiny 2 were to win a category like this, I would kind of lose respect for the show, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
But Jay Fonzarelli, good friend of the show, says Endgame is dead. He's not going back to Destiny until huge changes are made. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people, yet it gets thrown into a category like this. It gets thrown into consideration for a game show awards, which I just don't get it, man. I think more people enjoy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, even though that's a rehash of an old Wii U game. I hear more people enjoy Splatoon 2. Like, it's just...
I'm going to say that, yes, I don't think Destiny should be in every single category that we've seen so far up on the screen. But at the same time, I don't think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe should be in this category either. I think the multiplayer experience in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is subpar. I mean, right. The game is fun in itself, of course, because it's Mario Kart. But the multiplayer experience, I haven't enjoyed it as much as I have like Call of Duty World War II or Fortnite. You know, or I bet you Splatoon's even better.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's just an awkward place for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to be in that category.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's like we said earlier, it's kind of like a Nintendo respect factor where, I mean, they've already got a game in there, like Splatoon 2. You don't have to just throw in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't know the process of getting these games in consideration, but I can't imagine that, you know, a majority of people, like the sixth most people, said Mario 8 Deluxe. Like, that's clearly last on this list, tied with Destiny. Like, those are two like ones that, if those weren't on the list, I wouldn't complain. You know, Splatoon 2, Call of Duty World War II, Fortnite, or PUBG were not on this list, I would be like, where are those? Legitimately. I would legitimately be like, where the heck are those? But if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe were off this list, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people even have forgotten about that game. You know, a lot of people forgot that even came out this year. Destiny 2, obviously, you can't forget that came out this year, but at the same time, it's like they're just giving a sympathy nod. It's unbelievable.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, right? If we're gonna throw Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in that category, it's like a racing game, right? So why don't we throw, I don't know, let's say Need for Speed Payback because there's multiplayer, or
right.
Forza or
Forza,
GT
yeah.
Sport.
Yep.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right. I don't think that has a snowball's chance in making it. If I were to say, I mean, man, I think this is kind of a tough category to pick, but I think PUBG is easily going to get it, even though it's just because of popularity. Like some people have said in the chat already, popularity contest, we'll take it. But I think Fortnite is an awesome game. Like if you played Fortnite, I think as buggy as it is, I mean that is a lot of fun, man. That game's a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing, but I agree. I think PUBG is probably going to take this category, and I say that only because of how many people are actually online at the same time on PUBG.
Right. And if it were not good, you wouldn't have that kind of retention. I mean, look what happened with Lawbreakers. You know what I mean? Like people are clamoring for that game to come to the Xbox. How do you Xbots, if you will? No disrespect to Xbox 448, great fan of the show, friend of the show rather. But how do you Xbots feel now that you're so offended that Lawbreakers didn't come to the Xbox and now there's only like 10 people playing it at one time, if that? So I mean, come on.
Yeah, where's the sympathy nod for that game? I mean, if we're throwing Destiny in and Nintendo stuff for sympathy nods, why don't we throw a sympathy nod for Lawbreakers? I kind of feel bad that the thing phased off like the way it did.
Right. Assassin, what were you gonna say, bud?
I was gonna say, I wonder if those 10 people on Steam friended each other so they can actually have a full lobby.
They probably did. Like that's probably what kind of desperation it has come to for fans of that game. They've probably all added each other, and they essentially have private matches, but on public servers. For that game, like they just all invite each other massively, so that they don't have to match make, and so that they get XP or whatever. Because I don't know for sure because I haven't played enough of that game. I do own it, but I haven't played enough to know if private matches get XP. But I'm guessing you don't. But I could be wrong. So yeah, I think PUBG probably closely followed by Fortnite. Clowns thinks PUBG. Assassin.
Well, in a perfect world, Fortnite, PUBG, and Mario Kart would be gone because Fortnite and PUBG shouldn't be on the list for being early access. And then Star Wars Battlefront 2 should be on that list, and that should win. But I would love to see Call of Duty win because it is a pretty good game. But like I said, popularity is going to win, and PUBG. If not, then Fortnite.
I don't know if this is done because after this award show airs and we do our kind of like post VGA podcast that we do the week following, after that I don't really pay attention too much, but I wonder if they release the results, like what the voting results were, because I'd love to see where Call of Duty does rank, because I definitely think it should be like second or third.
Yep.
But I mean, you do have a fair point. A lot of people are kind of upset that beta games are in this list, but I mean, people still do play them, so you know what I mean? Right. It's like that's why they include them, because that's kind of like the argument against it. But at the same time, like, who knows if these games are going to be the same as they are when they win the awards. Like, we'll get to Game of the Year in a second, but if PUBG wins Game of the Year and it's a lot different in its actual final state than when it won Game of the Year, like, who's to say it's still Game of the Year? You know what I mean? It's kind of like you have to put an asterisk because the game could change significantly. Same thing with Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite is essentially complete, much more complete than PUBG, I think, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's where you get into danger. But at the same time, like, there are a lot of people playing it. There are a lot of people enjoying it. And I mean, if PUBG were to win no awards tonight, I think there would be a huge outrage from even by people that don't play it. That's just how aware people are of that game. So, so yeah, pretty good. Nice chat interaction on that one as well. Let's go to another category. I was going to do best strategy game, but I don't think any of us have played any of these games on this list other than Halo Wars 2, and that's definitely not going to win. Um, but let me see here. We did fighting game. Um, I mean, I'll show best RPG because that is, I would say that's a core genre of gaming, but I haven't played enough of these games to really weigh in. I know
Ooh.
Persona 5 is, let me just list them for Pope because you can't see people on your phone. You don't see that it's South Park Fracture But Holes on here, which I'm kind of surprised it's on there, but because I don't think it reviewed very well. But I mean, awesome game, of course. Final Fantasy 15, another great game. Not surprised it's on here. Divinity Original Sin 2, haven't played it, but I've heard good things. Nier Automata, which people on Xbox are pissed it hasn't come to Xbox. I mean, that is a Platinum Games title. They were working on Scalebound, and now, PlayStation gets an awesome game from them, and Xbox gets nothing. So that obviously deserves to be there. And Persona 5, which a lot of people have said is, one of the best Personas, if not the best, and one of the best games to come out this year in general, not alone, not just in respect to role-playing games, but in games in general. So, Clowns, I heard you kind of like make a ooh there. So what do you think about this category?
I know my opinion is not gonna be the popular opinion, right? I want South Park Fracture But Hole to win.
Same.
I think they pushed the envelope. I think they've done things that most companies would be afraid to do with that. Even though the cartoon is pretty edgy, I think it took a lot of bravery to put the thing out there, and I think the game is a lot of fun. I personally did not enjoy Final Fantasy XV. I didn't like Divinity Original Sin 2. Persona 5 I just started, but that is definitely, that's a very popular contender, especially in Japan, Europe, and Asia.
Yeah.
Nier Automata seems to be very popular. It's going to be tough, man. I think, for all awards purposes, I think it's going to be a close fight between Nier and Persona 5, but Nier may win it just because it's more popular here in America than Persona 5 probably is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tend to agree that Nier has gotten a little bit more popularity. I mean, Persona fans are diehards, whether they're in America, whether they're in Japan. I mean, I think that just appeals to a Japanese audience a little more than Nier, because Nier, in and of itself, is an action game, is a crazy, hectic action game that even people who liked Scalebound could definitely get into. And I actually know people who checked out getting a PlayStation for a game like that, or bought it on PC to experience that, and people have been really clamoring for Nier. And so, I mean, that could win, but it tends to be a popularity contest, so I'm not sure it will, but I think it's gonna be really tight. I think it's gonna be really, really tight. I mean, Xbox Pope in the chat says he's pretty stuck on this one. Keith Trailer says South Park. This is game of the year. Clowns kind of agrees with you, man. Clowns agrees with you. Yeah, I don't know. That would be quite a statement if South Park Fractured But Whole were to win a category like this.
Wow. Yeah.
That would be a statement.
I mean, just think the throwback from Atlas would probably be huge on that. And,
oh my god.
And Square Enix, they'd probably be a little insulted.
Oh my god. Atlas would definitely be insulted. They get insulted when you post it, like when you were streaming, remember? Like those cease and desist letters they would put out? Oh my god, man.
And Persona is, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's 20 years old now.
Persona as a franchise, yeah. Yep. Final Fantasy as a franchise, what are they at? They're probably almost at like 30 at this point. I don't remember when the first Final Fantasy came out, but it was maybe early 90s, maybe.
I would think so, yeah. Because that was back on the NES, wasn't it?
Yep. So definitely two series there that have been very long standing. And, I don't necessarily agree with Clowns on Final Fantasy. I think Final Fantasy is actually pretty good. I mean, it's definitely not your, mom and pop's Final Fantasy. It's not like your PlayStation 1 hardcore Final Fantasy 7 fans Final Fantasy. But I mean, I think it's good. I enjoyed it, but it's not going to win this category. But I think I enjoyed it. Enrique from the Basement Art Radio Arcade podcast, another friend of the show, Says he thinks Final Fantasy takes it. See, I'm not sure it does. I'm not so sure it does. Maybe second, but I mean, I could see Nier or Persona beating it, to be honest, because I think people are kind of salty on Final Fantasy for not being a proper role playing game as it used to be. But I mean, I could be wrong. Assassin, final word on this. What do you think is going to take it?
I have no clue. I know South Park will not win, but
Dude, can you imagine though?
that'd be disgusting.
I could imagine like Trey Parker, like going up there and accepting the award and swearing and going like nuts. Oh my god, that'd be fun. What were you gonna say, Assassin? Anything else?
Not really. I mean, I don't know really anything about the other games, so
yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I feel like this is more of a category that, you know, even though it is like a core genre of gaming, like when people think of gaming, you ask them like what are genres of gaming. I'm sure role playing game comes up. You know, RPG. You know, people know that phrase, but like at the same time, you know, for these games, I mean, you're gonna have to own, you know, pretty much everything in order to play all these. So it's not like that on the other categories. Like, you know, like for instance, like you go down to the family games, right? All the family games are on Switch. You know, every single family game's on Switch has been nominated. So, I mean, I guess I'll just go there for a second just for completeness sake. But I mean, Splatoon 2, Sonic Mania, Mario & Rabbids King Battles, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Super Mario Odyssey. Like all those are either Mario games, Sonic games, or on Nintendo. You know, I mean, 4 out of 5 of those are Nintendo exclusives. So
this is another category that's definitely screwed up because I just gotta say this. Best family game, right? Means like the whole family could play together. At least that's what it should mean. If they meant family oriented or family styled game would be different. But when I think of family game, I'm thinking of like Trivial Pursuit. I'm thinking like Monopoly. You know, everybody can play together and have fun. And Mario Kart, you could do that with that. Splatoon, you probably do that. But Sonic Mania, Mario Rabbids Kingdom, and Super Mario Odyssey,
single player, man, single player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what us older gamers would classify as a family game. Like we hear family game, that's what we think. But they, I can't really zoom in here, but maybe I can try. Oh nope, I just screwed up the whole thing. But under family game, it says for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. So they kind of like qualify it as not meaning that anymore, clowns. It's like almost like it just has to be family friendly. Like it has to be, you know, G-rated or close to it, you know? It's not like what we think of it as anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just hard for me to grow up a little bit and realize that these days.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Assassin, have a quick thought on this category. I wasn't really gonna go into it, but might as well since we're here.
No, not really.
Assassin, are you still salty you don't have a Switch?
No.
Can you imagine if you usually get like dishes and candles and like hand soap for Christmas? Can you imagine if you get a Switch for Christmas?
Yeah, all right.
No, can you just imagine though? Like, don't say yeah, right, because you know you're not getting it. Just imagine you wake up Christmas morning, you go out there, and there's a Switch. It's not even wrapped. Like they know, don't even wrap it because you're a savage. Like they just have it unwrapped, and it's there. What would you do?
See, what it would happen though, it would be the box, okay? And my cousins got the Switch.
And then in there would be like dishes or like hand soap or
right, yeah,
like a bulb or bulbs.
It will be sporks.
Sporks, yeah. Right.
Well, speaking of that, Assassin, I was thinking about getting everybody Christmas gifts this year, and I was wondering, could you use like a camping spork?
What's the difference between a normal spork and a camping spork?
A camping spork is usually like foldable. You buy it at a camping out, and it's durable in case it like goes under flame. It lasts a little bit longer.
Well, let's just say if you get that, it'd probably be sitting next to the other stuff, which is like in the basement in some corner, probably with spider webs.
Nice. Dude, yeah, camping spork, you know, very flat, you know, collapsible, like Clown said. You can like fit it in your back pocket. You can go Bear Grylls on a bitch.
Maybe we can all chip in and get him like a tent for his backyard or something.
I already have a tent.
I do have
And
his
a
address.
lantern.
I do have his address saved on my Amazon, so maybe I'll get him like a camping spork for Christmas.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna look into that after the show. All right, here's another category. We got a couple left that we want to get to before we get out of here. Best action game, definitely one that people are very interested in. I've seen a lot of thoughts on Twitter. I think a lot of people, and here we go, Destiny 2 again in best action game somehow. It's just it's just unbelievable that Destiny's just gotten so many nods. I could see Destiny winning no awards tonight, and they're in so many different nods here, so many different categories. But I see people thinking that Wolfenstein 2 is going to win this.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is.
For this category though, Inferno, I'm thinking like out of action, I'm thinking Wolfenstein 2 has the best action. I don't think Prey had a lot of action when I played it. I mean, but I gave up in the first hour. Destiny 2, you get bored of that. Cuphead, I consider that even. Yeah, I guess it's action.
Like, I don't know.
I just think it's awkward for Cuphead to be in there. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I love the game, and I think that it's fantastic. But is it full of action? I don't.
Yes.
Maybe. Again, this throws me off. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on Twitter that I've seen that have talked about this category, because I know there's a lot of debate on it. I mean, a lot of people, I know Keith Trailer's in the chat, he says Neo. A lot of PlayStation people have said Neo, like hands down Neo's going to win. And Neo, I think, has just recently come out on the PC. So I think a lot of PC people are kind of checking it out now for the first time. Wolfenstein 2, like, I just don't think of that as an action game because it's an FPS. But I mean, I guess it belongs in this category, and I do own it. I've watched more than I've played because I was so interested in it before it came out, and checked that out at E3. And I do think, graphics are great, settings great, story progression is excellent. So if I won, I wouldn't be crying about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just hard for me to see an FPS win. It's hard for me to see a side scroller win. You know what I mean? It's like Neo kind of wins by default because you've got two FPS games. You've got Destiny 2, which doesn't belong at all. You've got Cuphead, which is a side scroller, and then you've got Neo, which is a true action game. So I don't know. I haven't played Neo, so I can't say that should win. So out of these ones that I've been interested in, I guess Wolfenstein 2 would take it, but it's just hard for me to see that win, Keith Trailer kind of explains on the Neo thing. He says it's all right. It's PS4 exclusive, which it isn't anymore, but it was for a lot of the year. So I will give that to you. And then Keith also says it's very niche, has a lot of major diehard fans. Yeah, so that's why I think it definitely has a shot. But being niche may be too damning for it, it's maybe too difficult for it to win because of how niche it is. Anyway, Assassin, you got any thoughts on this topic?
Cuphead. Gonna win.
Nice. Man, I mean, can you imagine if the best action game of the year goes to an indie of a game that was arguably delayed for like 3 years because people, well, at least 2, because people were playing it at PAX 2015. So, people were checking that game out. Was it PAX 2016? I thought it was 2015, but people were checking out the game. They, then they delayed it. They decided to draw all the animations individually, hand drawn. They decided to make adjustments to the progression of the game. Instead of just boss battles, they had more adventure aspects, more open worlds. Not open world, but you can kind of select. It wasn't linear. You can select what missions you want to do first, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Cuphead, I guess, if you're allowing FPS games in there, you might as well allow side scrollers, right?
Yep.
Keith Trailer wants to know, where's Hellblade? Yeah, where is Hellblade?
I think it's in a different category. I saw it earlier.
There are a few categories that it's in. Like, what was the category that I think it's definitely going to win? Was it Games for Impact? I think Games for Impact, it has
Yep.
a big chance to win. It probably will win. I know there was another one, best where is it? Best audio design, right? So best audio design, I'm looking at this category. And I'm like hands down, Destiny 2 has incredible audio, right? At Destiny 2, like the gunfighting is good, the narration is good. I thought that was gonna definitely take it. If anything, like that would be the one category it won. But then I saw Hellblade and I'm like, oh fuck, never mind.
And then you got Zelda too for audio.
You think that's good audioly? I don't know.
I think
I didn't play enough of it to know, to be honest.
people love the sound effects. People love the music in Zelda. So I think Zelda's got a very strong point in that category.
Yeah. I think I've only put like 8 hours into Zelda, so I haven't gotten far enough in the story. I've done a lot of exploring, done a lot of temples, haven't gotten through.
Oh wait, never mind, because there's another category for best score music, so cross that off the list.
Right.
So I guess guess they're not considering score music and audio design.
Key Trail says audio design, so Hellblade is a shoo-in. I mean, that game was like totally focused on how like flashbacks audio comes in, like internal fights in our head and all that. I was really hoping for a Black Friday sale on that game, but it just never came. But Ninja Theory, awesome job on that. I know a lot of diehard Xbox people that recently picked up a PlayStation for the exclusives that grabbed Hellblade and just absolutely love it. Know a lot of PC people too that have talked to me about that game. I went to Best Buy and this guy was like, "Oh, I'm just a PC gamer, but if you're a console gamer, you have to pick up Hellblade." I'm just like, "Okay, guy, whatever you have to say." It was like a really weird interaction, but he was like talking crazy praise for Hellblade. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Keith. I remember people talking about that when the game came out, that they even recommend you wear headphones. Like they don't recommend you use like a surround sound system or play over your speakers on your TV or a sound bar or anything. They say, put headphones on for the best experience. So, Assassin, thoughts?
I don't know. Hellblade. It seems popular. I don't know. The other ones don't seem like they have good audio design.
I think Resident Evil 7 has decent audio design because of like how creepy it is and how you have to use audio cues to kind of, do things better on the first time around. But once the repetition gets in, you like fail something and you have to go back and do it, or you get back in the, you have to backtrack a bit to go back in the buildings, and the sound design's kind of like out the window. You don't really pay attention to that as much. But Hellblade, like that game is based on audio. Like that game is, audio is the cue to get you through the story progression. Destiny 2, like, Jesus, man. Like, the more I think about it, the less the more stupid I feel for even thinking it was going to win.
Nope.
All right. I don't know, we'll do a couple more and then we'll get out of here because we've already been going for an hour. I told Assassin this was going to be the shortest podcast in history. Or maybe I didn't use those words, I don't think.
But I said it would be short, and I said you're lying or something.
We do have 30 people watching. We appreciate you guys checking out the show live tonight before the Game Awards. Hopefully everyone goes and checks those out tonight. You can watch that in 4K, by the way. Do you guys know that? It's in 4K on I think it's on 4K on YouTube and one other place, but I'm not 100% sure, but it is in 4K. Mixer. Yeah, Mixer and YouTube. It is in 4K. So I would highly recommend you watch them on those two. I mean, if you want to watch on Twitch, I mean, if that's your platform of choice, do it. But I don't think it's 4K on Twitch. Let's see. Best game direction? Like, no, not really. You know, a game that a category that I think Cuphead probably has a very good chance of winning is best art direction. I mean, all hand-drawn assets. Delaying a game, taking a risk, delaying a game to include all hand-drawn assets to increase your workforce from like single digit amount of people at Studio MDHR and then increasing that to like 40 or 50, something around there before the game actually released in order to get this thing out the door and get, you know, all the animations hand drawn. I mean, people kind of take that for granted. I mean, hand drawing animations for like a boss battle that may take 2 minutes is like literally like thousands to tens of thousands of frames of hand drawn animation. Like that takes a long time. And I think there's needs to be a lot of respect for that. But I don't know. I think that's clearly the winner in this category. What do you guys think?
Cuphead 1000%.
Yeah, I mean, if Cuphead don't win it, then I question the legitimacy of this Game Awards.
I can just imagine Jeff Keighley guys going up to the microphone and being like, "And best art direction goes to Destiny 2." And then everyone's just like, "Oh!" Everybody in the crowd's like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, they must have read that wrong." Like,
yep.
I know you. I know you and Assassin don't know this because you haven't played Persona 5, but Persona 5 also has a lot of cartoon cutscenes in it, so like hand-drawn animation. So I'm kind of curious, you know, if that's going to pull any weight. But I think Cuphead deserves it just because it's an indie studio with the story behind it. Man, that's just a heartwarming story.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope Cuphead wins because I think they deserve it. I think with all the time they put in, the least they can get is recognition like this. I mean, obviously that game is sales wise incredible, done pretty well. I mean, obviously not like GTA level, but for the amount of time it's been out and for their expectations, I think it's hit those and soon to eclipse them with you know, a lot of people getting an Xbox this coming holiday. I think that's going to be, you know, on people's list to grab that, or they'll be gifted that digitally now that you can do that on Xbox. And so I think, you know, to receive an award like that and go up against juggernauts, like these other ones that are listed here, you know, big AAAs and to win, I think that'd be huge for Studio MDHR. And I think that would actually go to encourage them to do more stuff. Like, you know, now that Cuphead's out, I'm kind of like, what is Studio MDHR going to do next? I feel like we haven't heard anything. But I don't know. It's just I think Cuphead's gonna take it for very easily. But like Con said, I mean, Persona 5 also does have good art direction and you know, very good cutscenes. I mean, I just don't know enough about Persona to give it a fighting chance, but that's why the experts are voting on this, right? Not us.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know, like best narrative, like a lot of these games, like What Remains of Edith Finch, like that's a walking simulator that, you know, a lot of people have praised. I know Randolph Thor, you know, another friend of the show, great guy. He loved this game. This is one of his top games of the year. And it's going up against like Nier Automata, Hellblade, Wolfenstein 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn for best narrative. And it's a 3-hour walking simulator, essentially. And it has a chance to win. I mean, do you guys agree with that? Like, you think that's going to take it, or you guys have another one in this category?
I'm feeling Hellblade may win. I don't know. Maybe Nier Automata.
Mm-hmm. Trolling Tryhard. The Trolling Tryhard, nice name, says Wolfenstein should win. It has a great story. I think Wolfenstein has a good shot to win. I think Hellblade has an excellent shot to win. I think Hellblade is definitely gonna be on people's list to win this category. I think, you know, What Remains of Edith Finch, I mean, that all that is a narrative, right? I mean, you literally, I mean, yeah, I mean, you don't just like walk through it. There are things that you do actually do. I mean, you do use your controller. It's not just a movie, but at the same time, you know, the narrative is the reason people buy the game. So in that regard, yeah, it probably deserves it, but like Hellblade, it's just Hellblade, they were able to tell that narrative in such a unique, engaging audioly engaging way. Like, it's just I just know that Ninja Theory puts so much effort into a game like that, and to be beaten by like a 3-hour walking simulator. Like that would be difficult for me to see, but at the same time, I know that's why people even buy that game, you know?
Yep.
Clowns, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be... It's tough. It's so hard to say because these are all really excellent titles to be in this category. I couldn't personally pick a winner. I kind of am leaning towards What Remains of Edith Finch just because it's like it seems like a very independent compared to the other guys.
Right.
That's the only reason why I could see that one picking it up.
Right. Yeah, and it's extremely independent. They took a risk going. I mean, walking simulators are extremely are extremely popular for their narratives, and What Remains of Edith Finch is one that does it extremely well. So I mean, it makes sense that it would win. It's just like it's like when people argue about price, right? People will be like, "Oh, it's $30 and it's a 3-hour game." You know, you could spend $30 and get Wolfenstein 2 on sale, or you can spend like $20 and get What Remains of Edith Finch, and you're kind of saying, okay, well, a 3-hour walking simulator versus a little bit more money for an extremely interesting, action-packed FPS. Like it's kind of like the same argument, but I don't know. Let me see here. Let's do like maybe two more quick ones, and then we're out of here. Was there one that you had thoughts on? Like they have best handheld game. Like I'm just like, okay, great. Like some of these are like 3DS games. I feel like 3DS is just kind of tanking a little bit in terms of like public interest. Games probably not, but in public interest, yeah. All right, let's do one more, and you know what it is.
Game of the year.
It's game of the year. It's game of the year. And this is always a hotly contested one. And it includes a hotly contested entry in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And of course, last year Overwatch, took the cake on this, and a lot of people were up in arms at the fact that a multiplayer only game, a game that didn't have a lot of content, arguably, a lot of repetition there, could win it, but. It says recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So it says best experience across all technical fields. So does PUBG automatically get excluded? Like, I know that's not going to get excluded. That has a good chance to win, obviously, but like it's in beta, so it's obviously not the best experience across all technical fields. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Star Wars Battlefront 2 should win.
Actually, that wasn't nominated.
I know. I'm still throwing it out there.
Nice.
No, I love Mario. I would love to see it win, but if it was a different Mario game, then it would. I would vote for that. I'm thinking Zelda or PUBG, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I think those two are definitely going to be at the top of the list, even though I think Horizon Zero Dawn, I think all these games definitely have like reasons they should be there. It's not one of those years that there's a game in there that's clearly awful. But Breath of the Wild, man, I mean, that is a technical masterpiece. That game has such a sprawling open world. I mean, it was a launch title on a brand new console, and game looked good. It's now like 900p in dock mode, so it looks pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it looks pretty good. It added a bunch of new elements to a Zelda game franchise, with like breakable weapons, the flying you do, the stamina meter, like inventory management. There's just a lot of new aspects, and they all worked very, very well in that game. So I think that game definitely deserves it over PUBG. And I think if that game didn't win it over PUBG, I think that Nintendo has the right to be outraged because that is a complete game. That is a complete creative and technical experience. Whereas PUBG, it's like, is that really creative? You know,
No, not
it isn't.
really.
Yeah, it's not really creative. I mean, it's creative because it's battle royale. Like, it's a new game style. It wasn't even the first one to do it. I mean, there was H1Z1.
There's mods for other
Mods
games.
for Arma 3, like other mods. There's other mod, you know, there's I mean, Minecraft Hunger Games, if you want to throw that in there. But you know, it's not even that creative. I guess I mean, it does it well, but at the same time, it's not technically complete. So I don't think that should win, but who am I, right? Clowns, what do you think?
I'm thinking Zelda, hands down. I think that game has the most to offer for game of the year. It's so diverse. The universe in Zelda, the map's big for a Nintendo game. The story is heartwarming. There's just a lot of great things about Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
As far as PUBG, I don't know if you know this, Inferno, but it's showing up XSplit for you right now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but PUBG I definitely don't think should be up there. It's not a completed game. They couldn't, you know, the whole fiasco not getting to 60 frames per second after they promised it would, and it's going to game preview, and then, you know, there's issues even on the PC that they had memory leaks this past year with the game. I just don't think it should be up there. It's not completed. So Zelda, hands down.
Yep, I agree. Man, I don't know why it's showing up as XSplit. My computer just completely froze. Are we still live?
I think so.
We are still live.
Well, at the end of the show, then I'm gonna have to turn my computer like straight off in order to end the broadcast because my computer is completely crashed. That's why it shows up as just XSplit. Wow, at least it happened now at the end of the show and not at the beginning, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe if you Control Alt Delete.
I tried that. I'm getting nothing.
Oh,
I'm getting absolutely nothing. But yeah, I hope it's Breath of the Wild. I really do. I really do. But I mean, if it were like Horizon Zero Dawn, like I wouldn't be too upset. If it were PUBG, I'd just be like, wow, this is really just popularity contest at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Because it says recognizing a game that delivers the best experience across creative and technical fields. That's not what that is. So if you want to say most popular, then it's most popular, fine. But it's not that. So don't say it's that. And then, you know, is it the most? I mean, obviously it sold a ton of copies. It definitely it probably sold the most copies out of any game this year for sure. So in that regard, yeah, it did the best. But is it the best? Probably not. All right. Anything more you guys want to say about this video game awards before I turn off my computer to end the broadcast?
Nope.
Well, not about video game awards, but I don't know if everybody's listening right now used to know that we used to do weird news of the week, but there's something I found that was pretty weird, and I just wanted to say it real quick. Is that a YouTube broadcaster decided to cement his head inside a microwave with a plastic bag between the microwave and the cement, and it got stuck, and they had to like stick a tube. His friend stuck a tube in there so he could breathe, and it took like fire rescue like over an hour to get it off his head.
Wow.
He did it. He was trying to do a thing for YouTube, and he didn't realize how quickly it would dry.
Oh my god, people are so stupid these days. It's unbelievable. Like, that guy could have died, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what they said. He could have suffocated.
Yeah, I mean, what were you thinking? You didn't realize how fast it would dry. What'd you think was gonna happen? Like, oh my god, man. He's probably got 1 million hits on that video too.
Yeah, I wonder if it's even up yet. I read the article on BBC, and I'm curious if he's even going to put the video up.
Oh my god. I hope he does so I can see how stupid he is.
Yeah, like, kids, don't do this at home.
Yeah, exactly. With like a disclaimer. I hope YouTube like forces him to put it up.
A microwave, dude. Who would think of sticking cement?
Why would you do that? Yeah, like he was trying, like you say in the story, like he was trying to like do something for his fans or what are you trying to do there? Like what is the point of that?
Yeah. It's just Insane. Assassin, would you ever do something like that?
Stupid. That's stupid.
Would you rather do the microwave concrete challenge or the ice bucket challenge?
Neither.
Wow. You're putting it on the same level then. You're essentially putting it
that'd be sick.
Wow. All right. Well, man, I cannot believe my computer hasn't come back yet. I'm hitting Control Alt Delete. I'm trying to move my mouse, but it's not doing anything. But I guess that's fine. But yeah, this is.
You are now known as XSplit.
I'm now known as XSplit. But happily, this happened at the end of the program. So I hope you guys all enjoyed. I mean, when my screen froze, we had 47 people watching, which is pretty good. So thank you for coming by, checking out the podcast. Appreciate it. If you want to keep checking it out, definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And check us out. We're also on Twitch and on Mixer. Just search for 4Guys with Quarters. You'll find us. Check out our website, 4guyswithquarters.com. And if you're going to follow us, you definitely want to follow us on Twitter because that's where all of our updates are. And we're going to be doing a couple of good giveaways for Christmas coming up in the next couple of weeks. So definitely check out 4GwQPodcast on Twitter for a few giveaways, some Xbox Game Pass sponsored by Chicken Spaghetti. And also, I think I have a copy of Madden 2018 to give away as well. So we'll do those in the coming weeks. But now I have to turn off my computer and the broadcast. So one of you guys definitely text me, let me know the broadcast ended because I will have no way of knowing. So
never.
Yeah, message me on.
I mean, this
Twitter
could be the longest running broadcast on YouTube ever if it doesn't disconnect.
It could be. All right. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Right. So,
are we still live, guys? We are still alive, according to Daz.
I think we are.
All right, Assassins. I guess we got to disconnect. Let's hope that works. One at a time. Later, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. And yeah, rewind to the beginning if you missed everything. It was a good show tonight. Thanks for coming out. And hopefully, when I hit end, this will end the broadcast.